Last time? Plot, 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 plot.
Hello, welcome back to more 999. Last time we left off, we are about to venture through this door. Ready? I'm gonna open it. They nodded. Santa nodded back and threw the door open. And let me guess, everyone's still waiting there. All four of them leapt through. It took only a moment for them to realize where they were. They had been there only a short time ago. It was a large hospital room, filled with countless beds. Lotus and Clover looked up as they entered. Ace was there as well, although he looked as though that he had only just woken up. The moment they spotted Junpei, Lotus and Clover headed straight for him. Oh god, she's gonna kick her ass. As she neared him, Lotus drew back her hand and slapped him open-palmed across the face. How could you do this to us? Her face was furious. She grabbed Junpei by the collar and shook him violently. Clover didn't touch him, but the hate in her eyes was no less potent. It was Seven who stopped them. Knock it off! We got bigger shit to worry about right now. His deep voice echoed across the massive room. Lotus glared at Seven, but let Junpei go after one last vicious shake. What? Go have a look. I stuck the screwdriver in the door. The door over there, the one without a number. So long as the screwdriver's there, it can't shut, so you can get in there. Seven also explained how they might find the shower room and how he'd used the broom to ensure the door remained open as well. Now you're saying we can go in there without passing through the numbered door? Yeah, that's about the size of it. What the hell is in there? You'll know when you see it. Lotus and Clover looked at one another for a moment, then nodded and stepped through the door. Oh, they're going to that horror. By then, Ace had made his way to them, moving with the stiff, shuffling steps of a man who had only just awoken from a lengthy slumber. My goodness. I know I said I was sure you'd come back for me. I didn't think it would happen so soon, though. Ace shook his head weakly. Should I go as well? Seven nodded. Very well. Ace followed Lotus and Clover with his stiff, tired gout. Kind of like a jog, I guess. And we're back at yet a new section. It looks like the game stopped us conveniently, so I'm assuming this is something we've yet to view. Between the two elevators was a card reader, with a Mercury symbol engraved on it. Junpei stood in front of it with the Mercury key card, of course. He'd found the card while investigating the shower room. He took a deep breath and slid the card through the reader. It made a small beep and the lights on the reader blinked to life. Now, they were ready. 7 people, including Junpei, climbed onto the elevator. There were only 2 floor buttons they could push, the C and bottom buttons. The rest were destroyed or did nothing when pushed for some reason. Junpei hit the bottom button. The door closed. A metallic clang. Slowly it began to move downward. It began. Sometime later, all 7 of them stepped off the elevator onto the bottom deck. They stepped off and saw that the hallway to the right ended somewhere between 20 and 25 feet from them. The hallway in front of them was a dead end, but not a regular dead end. A numbered door. This is a numbered door! Yeah, it's door 2. Immediately, they began to discuss who would go through it. Their earlier experiences had shown them that they would most likely, regardless of the door they took, meet again. As a result, there were no arguments this time. Instead, they were concerned themselves with who would be sent to investigate what was beyond the door. The first to volunteer was Seven. Junpei followed suit, which meant Lotus was, by default, the 3rd member. Oh, cool, I didn't even have to choose this time. 5 plus 7 plus 8 equals 20, and then voila, you get 2 and 0, which is at 2. Alright, we're taking off. Okay, please be careful. Jesus, you two are acting like you're married, you know that? June blushed, so did Junpei. Oh, 7. Perhaps in an attempt to hide his emotions, he quickly turned away to pull the lever on the red. Well, that cut that short. Enough of your teasing, 7. The door opened, as they'd come to expect. There appeared to be a short hallway on the other side. Alright, let's go. Lotus was at first through the door. 7 was next, and Junpei brought up the rear. Yeah, God, they're beeping again. Fortunately, it took them only moments to find the dead. It had been placed just inside the room, right next to the numbered door. They gathered around it and quickly scanned each of their bracelets. God, I'm still waiting for us to hit one of those and then it just doesn't work and we all die. It stopped. Yeah, it stopped. Junpei could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. 7 and Lotus were breathing hard and fast. It was the 3rd time they'd been through the process. They had yet to grow accustomed to it. Now that Junpei wanted to. He planned to finish the game before he had a chance to let imminent death become commonplace. They become the norm. Junpei looked around again. It was a short hallway with 5 doors along the walls. There were 3 doors along the left wall, and a single one on the right. At the end of the hallway, the 5th door was covered by a thick metal plate. Junpei didn't think they'd be able to open it. After taking a look around the room himself, 7 spoke. Alright, let's get this started. I think we probably better split up. You two okay with it? Yes, no problem. Sure thing. 7 nodded to them and stepped into the room closest to him. Lotus looked at the doors for a moment, then headed for the one in the center. And that left only the one on the end for us. Well, I guess I'd better get started too. He looked intently at the remaining 3 doors. Seek a way out. That's become the norm by now, so there's nothing new. And this one we go, I guess? What the hell is that? Somebody made some wavy blue lines on this mirror of blue paint. Is that a drawing of a blue scarf? No, maybe not. This drain is kind of weird shape for a drain. You think it's made that shape for a reason or just for fun? The sink is pretty unique. It's got a square drain, which seems a little weird to me. There's no knob on this faucet. There's no way we can get the water out of it like this. If we can find a knob or something, that'll work as one, and we should be able to get the water to come out. Well, no shit, Lotus. And what are you? Toilet paper? Ew, how the hell can you touch that? It's horrible. It's not like I've really got a choice, do you know? It's not like I want to. Have to use toilet paper? Well, that's old and kind of grossing me out, but there's nothing to be suspicious about with it. It's just hanging from the wall. Well, if we pull the string, then it must be a toilet that flushes. What in the hell? Okay. A moon? What a filthy, disgusting moon. And we're getting mooned, I think. Yeah, it's pretty filthy, but it's a precious hint. Let's remember it, alright? I refuse to touch this. I refuse. What the hell is wrong with you? I don't want to touch it. Ever. You don't have to, I will. It's a very, very old toilet. Apparently Lotus refuses to touch it. Ever. Yeah? Oh, that's strange. It's a towel with the same marks on the mirror. That bed looks cold. Pretty sure you'd freeze to death in the winter. No kidding. If I tried to sleep here, my skin would dry out in no time. Well, it's not like you're that young anymore. That shouldn't really matter. My, Junpei, aren't you lucky? It seems you'll die before you have a chance to grow old and hideous. That sharp tongue of his is gonna get him in trouble. I'm sorry, you're right. Dry skin is a woman's worst enemy. There's nothing in the drawer. Yeah, something's not right here, though. That handle on the drawer doesn't really fit, you know? It just looks kind of messy. Why don't you take it out? It kind of looks like a faucet to me. Just saying. So there's a mirror on the other side of the drawer. It's kind of an odd shape, and it looks like someone attached the handle with a screw after the fact. Can we do this? I doubt it. Just makes me think because the mirror has that weird wavy line on it too. Someone drew a wavy line on this mirror with blue paint. This looks just like the part of the design on the towel. Don't you think that means anything? On the towel, it looks like water is flowing from the river to the spring. Do you think that means we need to make water flow from here? Okay, let's try room 1. There's a spring at the bottom of the river. Yeah, I guess I can see that. Why are you talking about that towel you've got? Yeah, I guess it does look a little like a spring. Or the thing on the mirror. Yeah, the spring on the towel has got to be indicating the picture on this mirror. The mirror is indicating the sink, right? But the picture looks like a spring with water and the sink's all dried out. Looks like the water doesn't work. Doesn't matter how much 7 turns that thing, no water's coming out. Has the water been shut off from somewhere else? There's a little tie in the drain. Doesn't look like we're gonna be able to pull it out of here. I'm gonna have to use our heads on this one. Alright, let's figure this thing out. I don't really have anything to pry out a tile. Man, this is a mess. I'm not even sure if it's a bed anymore. Can't say I'd want to sleep there. There's a dirty blanket on the bed. Pull it back, maybe? No? Okay. A toilet paper tube, huh? I really doubt I'm gonna need this for anything. Well, this part is thinner than the rest. In fact, this doesn't really look like it's part of the rest of this thing. The rug feels loose. Maybe if I give it a couple turns. Here we go. Screwdriver shaft. Oh, well. That's pretty convenient to find, actually. Well, it looks like the rod comes out easily enough, but I don't think the rest of that thing is going anywhere. Hey, this handle's pretty loose. Loose? You think it'd come off if you pull it on it? It fell off, huh? Look at this thing. That handle doesn't really fit on the string. Maybe if it was meant to be attached to it. Or wasn't meant. Do we do this, then? So if I just stick this metal rod in the handle... Ah, perfect. And then we should be able to unscrew the knob. If I use a screwdriver on the screw on this handle of this handle, maybe I can... Aha. And this one's a sun. A symbol on a toilet lid, huh? Seems a little fishy to me. It's a sun symbol, but it doesn't look like the ones on the doors. Damn, this toilet's pretty nasty to begin with, but the inside's even worse. Honestly, I'm amazed you could bring yourself to touch it. Heh. There's way nastier stuff out there in the world than a gross toilet. You're a real deep thinker, aren't you? Oh, 7's best, that's why. Ooh, what is in your drawer? What the hell? It's not opening. There's something up with this drawer. I don't trust it. Yank on it again. I want to make sure this drawer wouldn't open. I don't think we're getting it open. Oh, that's interesting. There's a pair of screws screwed into the top of the desk. Right on top of the drawer. It doesn't matter how old this thing is. We're going to have a tough time if we just try and break it open. It's probably going to be a pain, but I think we need to figure out a way to get these screws off. That's probably why we still have the screwdriver. Sweet, got the screws off. Now we can open the drawer. At least I hope we can. There's nothing in here. Well, maybe the drawer is what we need. The drawer, huh? Well, there was a mirror on the bottom of the other one. Alright, let's yank that thing out. There's a bump on the back. I wonder what it's for. Maybe there's a hole somewhere and these bumps line up with it. And trigger a hidden switch or something. Hey, we've seen weirder stuff. Doesn't seem that far-fetched. You know what? That doesn't seem far-fetched, you're right. This chair is pretty old. If Seven sat on it, it'd probably break. Ah! You say something. You better not be calling me fat again. Nothing at all. Don't squish me. We still haven't looked in the room to the right here. Okay. What's the deal with the lighting in here? There's just one beam of light. The rest of the place is too dark. I can't see anything. There's no way we can explore the rest of this room. The desk is old and rusty. Ah, god damn it! No matter how old I pull on this damn thing, it won't budge. Guess I won't be opening this thing anytime soon. And it's got a keyhole, but there doesn't seem anything stopping it. How the hell am I supposed to open it? I feel like I'm gonna see a ghost or something in here. It's a prank, but not a really good one, but still. Oh, this room is weird. This mirror seems really high. In fact, it's so high that it's kind of hard to see a reflection in it. The sink, but there's no light shining on it. The faucet's too hard to turn, too. I don't really think there's anything going on. What is this? 14 equals E? Probably means a 14 somewhere represents an E, but I don't know what 14 that would be. Well, yeah, we haven't really looked around too much in this room yet. I can just barely make out the string from the handle. Damn it, it kind of pisses me off that I can't see it, but I can't touch it. Toilet paper, it's still white enough for me to know what it is, even in the dark. There's nothing out of the ordinary about it. Alrighty. Well, let's go back into the second room then, and try to fit this faucet into this thing. Sweet, the handle I got off that drawer fits into the faucet perfectly. Now I can turn the water on. Junpei, what are you doing? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I'm running the water. I can see that. I'm asking you why you're just letting it run like that. Think about it, Lotus. This faucet didn't have a knob when we found it, right? What do you mean? Just watch. Anytime now? Hey, water's filling up. Doesn't that just mean the pipes are clogged? Whoops, let's turn it off for now. So, did anything change? The water stopped flowing. Thank you, Mr. Obvious. You troll, you. Ugh. Junpei, I'm leaving this one to you, alright? You do your thing. The sink is totally filled with water. Water pulled in the sink, fluorescent over it, and it filled up. So what happened over at the spring mirror? That is a good question, actually. Let's go check. I got our tile out, that's good. Junpei put the wet tile in his pocket. He was about to turn away when there was a noise behind him. He spun around to see Seven kneeling on the floor. His face was rigid and pale. Droplets of sweat covered his forehead. Hey, Seven, what's going on? You okay, man? He was concerned. He'd never seen Seven like this before. Slowly, the other man lifted himself to his feet on shaky legs. Yeah, I'm fine. I just got a little dizzy, that's all. His face was pale and his breathing was heavy. Sweat was pouring off his face and staining his shirt. It was many things, but fine. One was not one of them. Or fine was not one of them. Are you sure you don't look so good? Seven didn't answer. Half his face was twisted as if distorted by extreme pain, and his eyes were glazed. Finally he spoke. What am I doing here? Huh? His words made no sense. What are you talking about, Seven? You opened the number 2 door and walked in here. Don't tell me you forgot. No, that's not what I mean. He shook his head several times as if trying to clear something from it. It ain't much, but I think some of my memories came back. I think I've been here before. Oh, shit, really? Huh? I see it, I've been in this room before. You were here before. When? Why? Awe, light, Nona. Suddenly, Seven was mumbling to himself. They were words Junpei didn't understand. Seven's hoarse voice trailed off, and Junpei couldn't make out what he said. What the hell was that? Seven's brow furrowed furiously, and he ground his teeth back and forth. It's right there. I feel like I'm this close to remembering everything, but I just can't. Seven stopped, frustrated. He pulled his hat off and ran a hand through his hair. Then suddenly he looked up, his eyes wide. That's right. An experiment. There was some kind of experiment going on this ship. Well, we did hear a bit about experiments from Clover in the first ending. An experiment? What sort of experiment? They were trying to control people, or something like that. Junpei didn't know what to make of Seven's story. Instead, he simply stared as Seven continued. Awe, Light, Nona. Those were their names. Well, some of them. The kids that were there in the experiment, I mean. I think there were 4 or 5 more, but I don't remember all their names. Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm here. Seven began to mumble to himself and wander aimlessly about the room. He looked confused. So far as Junpei could tell, the man was simply rambling. And there were odd twitches to his movements. Experiment. Cradle. Pharmaceutical. Those kidnapped kids. Was I working on that case? Was Seven a cop before? Seven continued to mumble to himself about things that meant nothing to Junpei. Junpei didn't have any answers for him, of course. He couldn't understand what was happening to Seven. All you could do was wait. After a few minutes, Seven finally stopped. He crouched down and looked under the bed. His face registered mild surprise, and he began to mumble to himself again. The hole's gone. No, maybe it was a different room. There's gotta be a ton of rooms on this boat that look just like this one. At last, Junpei could contain himself no longer. Hey, what exactly do you remember? Well, maybe you could stop talking like a crazy person and tell me what's going on here. Seven stood up slowly. Well, it's not like I really remember everything. Well, I got bits and pieces, and they're scattered, and I don't make much sense. I don't care. Tell me the bits and pieces, then. Junpei could feel it. Whatever Seven had remembered, it was important. Very important. Seven drew a large, muscled hand down across his face. As he wiped the sweat from his brow, he spoke. From what I can remember, I think I was a cop. A cop? Yeah. I was looking for that group of kids that got kidnapped 9 years ago. You remember that, right? It was all over the news. Yeah. I was still in school. I don't remember all the details, but I do remember some of it. Missing. Where have these 16 boys and girls disappeared to? I think it was a bunch of kids right around my age, actually. They all just disappeared. Nobody knew why. It was all over the TV and newspapers every day. So you're saying you were investigating it? Yeah, that's what it looks like. I guess I found something. There was a medical company called Cradle Pharmaceutical. It had something to do with these kids. After I figured that out, I managed to get some information out of somebody who worked for them. He told me a ship would be leaving that night, and all the kids on it. We're going to be taken to some kind of big passenger ship somewhere out in the ocean. Oh shit, is that how we ended up here? Secret Agent 7. That's all I can think. And so, Seven had headed to the wharf. He kept to the shadows before long and found the suspicious ship he'd been looking for. There were a number of human shapes moving near the ship. There were men in black suits. Many of them were carrying large bags onto the ship. The bags. There was something odd about the way they moved as they were carried. There could be no mistake, there were human beings in those bags. He had moved before he had realized what he was going to. Out of the shadows he came, his gun already in his hand. He heard the words, "Don't move," but they weren't his. He felt metal touch the back of his head. "Drop your gun," came the cold voice from behind him. With the words, he felt the cold metal thing behind him press against his skull. Slowly, Seven crouched down and laid his gun on the ground. Then suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his neck, a needle. Was it some sort of drug? Well, that could have been why he forgot everything, too. As he was thinking about that, Seven felt his face hit the cold concrete beneath him. He could feel the chill of it seeping into him. Jesus. Ah, damn it! Shit, my head hurts! Seven woke up to find himself laying on a hard floor. He twisted his neck to peer around the room. Where am I? Oh my god, it's literally one of the rooms we're in. There was a small, shabby bed and a dirty sink. A toilet with no stall or privacy of any sort. As a cop, it was a place Seven had seen all too often. I'm in a cell, huh? Opposite the toilet was a door set into the wall. Seven struggled to his feet and hobbled towards it. He gave the door a good shove, then another, then tried pulling it. Yep, not happening, Seven. It didn't open. Well, that was about what he expected. It wasn't likely that someone would put him in a cell only to leave it unlocked. That'd be amateur. He threw himself against the door a few times, but to no avail. I knew it! Seven grumbled to himself as he moved back towards the bed and he sat down. He sat there for a very long time. Just how long? He wasn't sure. At last, he began to nod off and had nearly fallen asleep when he was roused by a distant voice. It's 9! The voice was far away, very far away. Seven couldn't understand what it was saying. Nonetheless, it was a voice, and a high one, most likely a child. His eyes shot open. Hurry, okay! As he listened, he could pick out several distinct voices. There were at least 5 or 6, possibly more. Where were the voices coming from? He looked around the room frantically. Perhaps the door? No, that wasn't it. What? Go! Was it coming from the left? Was it coming from under the bed? He grabbed the bed and flipped it up with ease. There it was. Oh, it's a ventilation slot thingy. There was a hole for ventilation in the wall where the bed had been, covered with a metal grate. Or griddle. Seven lay down on his stomach and peered through the grate. He couldn't see anything, it was too dark. Now that he'd found it, however, there could be no doubt. This was the source of the voices. For a moment he was confused. Why were there children nearby? Then he remembered what the man from Cradle Pharmaceutical had told him. How a ship would take the kidnapped children from the wharf to a waiting passenger liner out in the ocean. Was Seven on that passenger liner? It didn't matter. What mattered was that he found a way to the children. Seven looked at the metal grate. Could he fit through that hole? He stuck his fingers through the grate and grabbed hold of it. Ah! Jesus! Ha! Ha! Yeah, how'd you like that, you son of a bitch? The dark square sat open before him. Well, that's what strength gets ya. Ripping crates off walls. Seven wiped the sweat from his forehead and crawled inside. Is that where his story ends? Junpei waited for Seven to resume his story. The longer he waited, however, the clearer it became that Seven had no intention of doing so. He had gone silent and simply stared off into the air, his eyes blank. Hey, what happened after that? He waited long enough, but Seven shook his head. I don't remember what happens after that. I think I found some kind of door out of the duct. And I think I found some kids, too. Oh, man. Why can't I remember what happened next? Oh, man. What happened to the kids, Seven? Did you save them? I don't know. I don't know if it was me. I got this feeling. I think one of those kids died. A girl, I think. Huh? Deep in his heart, Junpei felt something very cold. Seven's hands dropped, and Junpei saw a look of sadness, the likes of which she had never seen on the man before. The large man's eyes blinked repeatedly, as if he were fighting back tears, and he swallowed hard. Ha! His sigh was like the melancholy setting of an old abandoned building. He shook his head and spoke. Anyways, just please don't ask me about it anymore, okay? I really don't remember anything else. After that, Junpei could hardly try to force any answers out of the other man. There was nothing more he could do. Damn right. Instead, Junpei turned his mind to trying to make sense of what Seven had told him. First, we have these children that were kidnapped 9 years before by some company called Cradle Pharmaceutical. That had been behind the kidnappings is what he found out, had taken the children to the ship they were on now. They had been brought to the ship for an experiment, something to do with controlling human beings, Seven had said. The 16 children who had been kidnapped were the subjects for that experiment. Seven had said 3 other names were Aue, Light, and Nona. That was the new information. He had already learned that Seven was or had been a police officer. Still, there was a little he could do with this new information. He learned nothing about the Nonary game or Zero, and had no idea why they had been brought to the ship that had been the site of these experiments 9 years before. Junpei couldn't forget what Seven had said the purpose of the experiment had been to control human beings. Could such an absurd experiment really have been conducted? I wouldn't put it past someone. Before long, Junpei realized he had spent quite some time deep in thought. No time for that, he chided himself. He had work to do. Junpei shook his head quickly to clear it and returned to the investigation, thoughts swirling in his mind. Well, that's to be expected. So now the item we got from there was this tile. So we've got this tile. And it's got these red, blue, and gray lines on it. What the heck does this stuff mean? Hell if I know. You know what? Let's try back in the third room now. There's a ray of light in the center of the room. No? There's also a mirror over there we didn't check. Did we perhaps forget something? So I do remember we were looking at one of the drawers and they had those little bumps on the back of it. So possibly... could this be what we need to do? Sounded like something falling. What was that? I heard it too. Let's open the drawer. Another tile. Have you taken a close look at this tile, Junpei? I noticed that the 3 red lines here are actually on top of the other lines. The red lines? Yes. You know what, actually? If I'm not mistaken, this... You know what, I have ideas. I want to try something first. I have doubts these need to go here. If the drain clogged, it looks like a lot of water isn't draining out of the sink. No, okay. I didn't think they would fit in there, but it's worth a shot. Let's try this. Oh yeah, we can probably use this mirror to reflect the light. Now I just gotta figure out where to reflect the light. Maybe if I go somewhere that's a little easier to shine the light on. When I shine the light on the mirror in the back... Well, a number? Is that a number? So if I shine the light on this mirror, then I get to see some numbers. 4 and 7. So if I shine the light on the mirror in the back... I get it. If I shine light on the mirror, a symbol appears. The sun and moon. The left one has a sun and the right one's got a moon symbol. I'm gonna remember this. Hmm. $14, you say? That's E. There's a bunch of tiles on the door that spell out emergence. Emergence. Maybe it means we need to emerge out of here. Huh. There's a door in the back. I wonder where it goes. I thought of that, and I tried a couple of things, but yeah, the same result. Guess 7 wasn't able to do anything. Oh well. What it makes me think of is the 2 symbols were on the toilets. So maybe this code is something for that. I don't know what, though. I said I was going to remember those, but I completely forgot them, so I need to go double check again. Four, then 7. So 4 is probably for that, and 7 is probably for that. So what I want to try to do is I want to go back and pull the handles, I think. It's literally the only thing that we haven't used in these rooms. Oh, which one are you? You're the sun. The only thing you can manipulate in this room is that string. Chances are they made this puzzle so someone wouldn't trigger by accident. That's 1. I should just keep pulling on this thing then. Alright, here's it goes. Second pull. Third pull. Fourth pull. Did you just hear something? I did, but it doesn't look like anything's happened here. Huh, I wonder what that sound was. That was a good question. Let's go back to this. Now this one I think is... No, I think I just came into the same room. Whoops. That's the moon one. Let's try it. So this is what the moon symbol was pointing to, huh? They probably made it so someone wouldn't trigger. Yeah, we know that. 1. Second time. 2, 3. Fourth time's a charm. 5th time. This is the 6th consecutive time. I'm well aware of that. Nothing happening? There's another click. There's that sound again. It happens whenever I pull that string a couple of times. Junpei, did you hear something from the other room? The other room? You mean from the dark room? I guess we can try then. Let's go over here. What has changed? There's a blanket. Not a really great one, but still. I don't think anything else has happened here, has it? Right. Right, and the door opened. 2 more tiles. Yeah, we couldn't get that open on the first examination. There's nothing else strange or special about this desk. This had tiles. Okay, well, it looks like we've investigated all the rooms. The only mystery left is that door. Alright, let's crack that mystery then. We've got 4 tiles. There's a bunch of tiles that are on the same size up on the wall here. So, if we replace 4 of the tiles on the wall, the ones we've got, that should open the door. Well, there's only one way to find out. True, there is only one way to find out. You know what? I think I have an idea here. The number meant E, so let's try that. It's the only other clue I can think of. Okay. Right thinking. Perfect. Hey, did you just hear something unlock? Does that mean we got it right? Yes, it looks like we did. The 14 hidden on that tile. If you convert that to hexadecimal, it's an E. Basically, the E's and emergence are the 14s from the tiles. So if we replace it, that gives us the answer. Do you really care why it worked? Let's just get out of here. True, but that's what I was thinking. The 14's equaling the E. Like, that was a pretty good hint. Thank you, game. You found it.